What's going on, guys? My name is Jellycat, and it is March 23rd. And this is the video for my February movie. If you don't know, I'm watching one movie every single month and then doing kind of like a video essay on the movie, so to speak. And my movie for February was the new Superman from 2025. James Gunn directed it. Problem, I didn't record the video until now, March 23rd. And I'm actually yet to watch the March movie as of recording this. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. I'm not going to spoil what that movie is, even though this video might come out fairly soon to when that comes out. Yeah, I watched Superman in February, and it was a really good movie. So, quick thing with how I'm ranking everything. So when I did the SpongeBob movie, I did story, where I talked about the entire story, and then ranked it. And then I don't remember the exact order, but there's impact, music, animation, and story, obviously. Story, music, impact, animation. Characters, that was the other one. I can't do animation for this movie because it's live action. So for live action movies, I'm actually going to change it out for cinematography, which is like the art and craft of visual storytelling and motion pictures. Exactly what Google is saying over there. So that's what I'll be ranking instead of animation. But we have to start with story. And another big thing, this was kind of an issue that Jaden had when editing the SpongeBob movie, is I wrote down like every little detail for story. And so it was hard to find the clip sometimes. And I'll be honest, for like half of the movie, I was writing down every single little detail. Eventually, I stopped writing down every single detail. So I'm going to try to avoid talking about everything in my notes, just all of the important stuff. And sometimes the not important stuff. But with that, if you enjoy the video, like, subscribe, all that. Yeah, and I guess on with the actual video, which I say like it's another clip, but it's still going to be this clip. Anyways. The movie starts off with some lore stuff about the first metahumans coming to Earth 300 years ago. And then 30 years ago, Superman came to Earth. And 3 years ago, Superman announced himself as Superman, the most powerful metahuman of all. 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it does 3 a lot in this movie. Let's see, 3 weeks ago, the Hammer of Borvia, which is another metahuman, attacks Superman in Metropolis. Then 3 minutes ago, Superman loses his first fight ever. Movie starts, Superman crashes into the ground. Just like that. He's basically dead, except he's not. He calls for Crypto. Crypto drags him to the Fortress of Solitude. Comes out of the ground like the castle from Frozen, except a lot more violent than the castle in Frozen. The door opens, and there's 4 Superman-branded robots. And they help Superman up, repeating message from his parents. And then he gets blasted by the sun. That's fun. Anyway, Superman goes back to Metropolis, even though he's not fully healed. I have her as Robot Venom Lady in my notes. I don't remember her actual name. Here's an image of her. She's looking for Superman and the Fortress of Solitude. She finds it, but it goes back in the ground before she can get there. Superman goes back. He fights the Hammer of Borvia after we get the super cool Superman title card. Also, I don't know if I'm saying Borvia right.
Boravia.
He gets slammed into the ground. Blah, blah, blah. There's this war going on between Borvia and Jarhanpur. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. The Hammer, he flies to a beach. There's this military base, and he goes into a portal to this, like, weird pocket dimension kind of looking place. It's really gloomy in there. And he goes goes back through another portal and ends up in the Luthor Corp tower. And so Luthor Corp, it's like these 2 towers, which are identical, and then like a bridge connecting in the middle, and it's really cool. Oh yeah, I completely forgot, after the not fully healed, what the hey, dude? So yeah, that was funny. The room that everyone is in right now is in the middle of a bridge between the Luthor Corp's twin towers. That's exactly what my notes say. We're introduced Clark Kent, which is Superman, but to your everyday person, he's just a normal guy. He's just a regular guy. He goes to the Daily Planet. He's kind of clumsy. Someone's talking bad about metahumans on the news. And in my notes, I have who I thought was Lex until I saw that he had hair. Anyway, Superman gets a call from his parents. There's other guy blabbering on behind him. Superman, he's just on the phone with his parents, with Ma and Pa. Lois is introduced. Not a lot to say about that. Clark happened to get I suck at talking. Restart. Let's restart this sentence. RJ, or whoever's editing this video, cut that out. Because I haven't heard from Jay since Saturday. That's besides the point. Anyways, Clark happened to get an interview from Superman right after the fight, which only Clark knows about, so, Luthor's at the Pentagon now. That's cool. The robot Venom stuff, it's just nanite, which Lex has infused into her blood. And then he's also got Ultraman and these flying robots called the Raptors. There's no kryptonite left on the planet Earth. That's a fun detail, I guess. Lois walks into her apartment. There's a little rattling in the back. It's just Superman cooking in the kitchen. Or, well, it's Clark in the kitchen. The number 3 is back because they have been dating for 3 months, or their first date was 3 months ago. And so Superman's like, okay, I can just break into her apartment. Lois gets an interview. They argue for a while. Yeah, this is when I started to realize I need to stop writing down every detail. Superman doesn't use social media. He talks in the third person for like a sentence. And he says a bad word, guys. And this caught me off guard because of earlier when he said, "What the hey, dude?" Superman leaves after the argument. Lex and his fellas and his annoying girlfriend go to Antarctica, and Lex makes the fortress appear, which at the time, obviously, I didn't know, but at the end of the movie, you kind of find that out. That's cool. Venom. Oh, no, not Venom. So I got tired of writing Robot Venom Lady, or whatever I usually wrote, so I'd start, like, randomly doing random stuff. So for this one, I have Vobot Linum Rady begins to hack Superman's like big computer thing, and Lex has two guys put this tiny little beast into the city, and I quote. So I said the beast can spit fire, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, this is a small problem." It's like, it'll get bigger. And so I was writing, Beast spits fire, and I guess it can. I was going to say, and I guess it can get bigger. And then as I was writing that, it cuts to the Beast being like 1 billion times bigger. So in my exact notes, it just says, Beast spits fire, and I guess it can, ... Never mind, it did get bigger. Superman, he like does the Bugs Bunny thing, because the Beast stomps on him, so he does like Bugs Bunny thing where he like digs underground, and you can see the like rubble or whatever going up to where he is. And he flies around, he gets the thing, hits the thing on its head, saves an old lady, and the Justice Gang arrives, and they help. And then Superman saves that kid, kind of like that one Fortnite emote. And he saves a squirrel, too. Mr. Terrific is there. He blows up the Beast. And then Lex has revealed this message, because I didn't explain this earlier, but half of the message kind of is cut off for whatever reason. Superman's never known what that second half of the message is. Apparently it was something about take over Earth or whatever. I'm not sure if it was real. I guess it was. I don't know. But everyone just believes it. It's like, okay, well, this guy who's been good to us for the past, 3 years, we're gonna believe this all of a sudden. And so everyone's all of a sudden against him. The president of Borvia, he has one of those portals because he's actually working with Lex. Superman goes to the fortress, which is completely wrecked. Crypto's gone. and he just launches it to Luthor Corp.
That's gonna be. Where's
the dog?
Dog?
The dog, Luthor! You took the dog!
That's right, you get all of this.
Where's the dog?
After that, there's like a scene. I think it's the one where Luthor's just sipping on his cup of joe, just completely rage baiting him. And anyways, Superman goes back to his apartment, I guess. And we get this kind of Peacemaker cameo because he's talking about Superman on the news. And 22 missed calls from Ma and Pa. And from my understanding, Cthulhu is casually outside attacking the city, but the Justice Gang got that, so that's cool. It's Rainbow Cthulhu. Gay Cthulhu? I don't know. Superman, he's gonna turn himself in hopes that he finds Crypto. He is sent to a prison in this bridge portal pocket dimension place. Luthor's waiting there. Some really scary alien thing, and the Element Man, another metahuman, who can make anything, including kryptonite, just by thinking about it. And then Jimmy Olsen has a source that tells Lois that Lex has Superman in the pocket dimension. And I'm Jimmy Olsen. Anyways, Lex has these robot monkeys in the pocket dimension. That's cool. And they are just completely trashing Superman 24/7 online. Lex has Crypto. We all knew this. Justice Gang refuses to go help him. Luthor has this random Indian guy from the beginning of the movie kind of held hostage to try to get information out of Superman. And he blows this guy's brains out. Very violent. Luthor doesn't know that Clark is Superman and threatens to kill Clark. Little does he know. Mr. Terrific and Lois arrive to the military base, and it was fun. Fun.
It was fun. When we were drinking, it was fun.
Yeah. Mr. Terrific is only there just to rage bait Green Lantern, essentially. That's the only reason he's there. Elements Man decides, you know what? Nah. And takes away I'm not going to help Luthor anymore. He takes away the kryptonite and makes a sun, because there isn't a sun in said pocket dimension. So he makes one. And obviously, Superman needs a sun. That's why he makes the sun. Superman saves Element Man's baby, and then Crypto, and then gets attacked by some of Luthor's guys. I don't know. They go down into an anti-proton river, still holding the baby through all of this. They save the baby. Crypto attacks one of Mr. Terrific's balls. Mr. Terrific, Lois, Element Man, Joey, Superman, and Crypto, that's a lot of characters, escape the portal as the portal collapses in on itself. Luthor's a little upsetty spaghetti. I throw something at that annoying girlfriend from earlier, who starts sending stuff to Jimmy Olsen, and asks to go on a date. She's too loud and gets caught by Ultraman. And she sends pictures of herself to Jimmy. And in my notes, I wrote not stuff that would bring Lex down, but then later in the movie, it's revealed that in the images, in the background of these images behind her, is stuff that would bring Lex down. And I didn't realize this, and I don't even know if I ever wrote it down. Lex wants to reopen that portal that collapsed in on itself, and it works. He opens it, no problem. Oh, never mind. There's a dimensional tear. Tears a dimensional rift into the surrounding area. So Lois and Superman went over to Mom and Pa's in the Terrific ship. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. Mr. Terrific's ship. And Superman has this heartfelt moment with Pa. So Borvia is about to invade Jarhanpur. I still don't know if I'm saying it right. And some kids are making this big Superman flag. Superman, come save us! All the people at the border of Jarhanpur begin calling out together. They all want Superman to come save them. Anyways, you remember that small little dimensional rift or dimensional tear that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, it's massive now, and it's halfway to Metropolis, so that's cool. Let's see. The little room in between the Luthor Corp towers is actually more like a flying thing. I don't really know what to describe it as. It's called a ship. Little flying ship thing. And so he just flies away in his room. Like, it was kind of funny. He flies away as the rift is reaching the towers and like tears them apart. Ultraman and Vady Renum Lobot, exactly what I wrote. They return and they try to stop Superman and Mr. Terrific from stopping the rift. They are fully intent on destroying the world if it means destroying Superman. Essentially, Superman, he's free falling because the like Venom robot stuff, the nanite is what it's actually called, obviously. It's all over him and it's like in his lungs and stuff. So he says, okay, and just starts free falling from space. He lives, he pukes out the Venom stuff, and the Venom lady robot thing, she's unconscious. Ultraman is Superman. Yeah, so essentially a while back in the universe, Lex like got, I think it was hair, Superman DNA, and cloned him and got this very less intelligent Superman, obviously being Ultraman, that they can control. And that's actually how they got in the fortress earlier in the movie. Borvia has invaded, and that singular kid with the flag remains. Justice Gang shows up, and along with Element Man, to save Jar Henper from Borvia. And Borvia president, I think he actually dies. We get, 1A, 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 1A. I said that really depressed. Obviously, it's not as depressing in the movie. Crypto, like the goat he is, he comes in, taking out all of Lex's cameras, and the cameras are kind of how he sees what's going on with Ultraman and controls Ultraman, so destroying the cameras, that kind of ruins it for him. Crypto and Superman, they have this like cinematic shot that is super cool where they take out all of the Raptors, which are those flying robots I mentioned earlier, and then never again. And Ultraman comes back and he kind of just drags Superman like towards the black hole. And then they're on this platform, right? And they're fighting. And I don't remember exactly. Like Superman's here, Ultraman's here. And so he kind of puts Ultraman there, and a train happens to fall right as that's happening and takes Ultraman into the black hole. So Ultraman's gone, and so is that train. The rift keeps getting bigger. Luthor refuses to close it and decides to leave through his portal, but Superman flies into his little room, office, flying thing before he can go. Lex is being racist towards the alien. And I wrote, and Superman, because Superman was saying something, and then Crypto like fully attacks Lex and is like getting ready to gnaw his arm off, I assume. Yeah, so that's cool. He almost got his arm like bitten off by Crypto. Every news outlet all of a sudden switched back up on Lex. Everyone's like, Superman's fine. And Lex, though, now that's a real bad guy. And everyone's freed from that pocket dimension jail. Did I mention that Lex has like 100 billion people in said pocket dimension jail? Lex goes to jail. Metropolis is destroyed, but the rift is gone. They closed the rift. Mr. Terrific closed it, so that's a thumbs up. Lois gets Lois gets an actual interview from Superman. Oh, never mind. They're making out. That's exactly what I wrote. Superbots are fixed. 4 wants a real name, and and he wants Gary, and I accidentally wrote gay at first, apparently. And then Superman, his cousin, Supergirl, returns. She's looking for Crypto, because Crypto's actually her dog and not Superman's dog. So they leave, and like the best song in this movie starts playing. Punk rocker. Post-credit scene is just Mr. Terrific and Superman in Metropolis. They're looking at this really uneven wall that Mr. Terrific tried to put back together, and Superman's like, It's uneven. Mr. Perfect's just not having it. He walks away, like kicks a rock, in anger, upset. I don't know. And Superman's just like, darn it, I can be such a jerk sometimes. Overall, and I honestly could have described it a lot better, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to say every single little detail because it gets really annoying to edit. But overall, this is an amazing movie. Like story wise, peak movie. And what am I gonna rank? It's a 10 out of 10. This is a goated movie. You're gonna notice this will probably be a very similar ranking to the SpongeBob movie in terms of like the scores. Like story wise, this was awesome. I loved this movie in terms of story. But now we're on to. Okay, so I don't fully remember. Like I said, I watched this movie almost a month ago. It was late February when I watched this movie, so I don't fully remember everything. I've got an image from Reddit that I'm gonna just flash on screen real quick. I should have done this a couple of different times when I was talking about the SpongeBob movie. I'm gonna do this a little more often. Is the image I'm looking at? Can I get a look at it and everything? So yeah, I literally just looked up Superman 2025 cinematography. So I'm going off of all the shots in this image, and that's it. I only learned like what cinematography fully means when I was watching this movie, and then I kind of forgot about it. So, involving camera operations, lighting, composition, and lens choices to create mood, emotions, and tone. Okay, so overall, stuff like the lighting. The lighting is usually pretty good throughout this movie. Like I said, I don't fully remember. Just looking at all of these images, you can always tell what's going on when you're looking at it. Like, looking at even the dark scenes, like the one with the Rainbow Cthulhu thing. It's not like so dark you can't see, but it's also like not super bright, so it's like not obnoxiously bright. But then scenes where it like needs to be kind of bright, like switching back to some of these, like here, like it's kind of the Justice Gang showing up for the first time, and so it's like the sun's behind them because there are these cool superheroes that everyone likes. Or with this one, which is like we're right in front of the green beam, so it looks really cool. This one, I think that's the sun behind him, like the tiny sun that Element Man was making, and so it looks really cool because like there's a full sun behind him, and so he, it's gonna be super bright behind him, but it's not like super obnoxiously bright. I feel like it's just kind of like, oh, there's a tiny sun behind this guy, so it's gonna be a little bright. Where's another one? And then that's all right. The shot. This was during the fight towards the end with Superman, Crypto, and the Raptors. This was really cool because he's shooting the laser, and I'm pretty sure the laser does go around towards the camera. So it looks really cool because the laser's facing towards the camera. So you kind of have that red effect from the laser. But yeah, overall, I think in terms of lighting for cinematography, it was really good. Camera operations, I'm sticking with these images, and based off these images alone, the camera angles are really good. Switching back to like this one, seeing him like right up punching that guy, like getting a close up of him punching that guy, is a really good angle for like fight scenes, especially. And where's another one? The shot of him flying. I don't know if this is from the beginning of the movie where we got the Superman title card, but even then, that was like really cool seeing him fly around, and the camera's like always right up close to him while he's flying. Almost like kind of his POV, but not really. More like facing towards him. So not really his POV, but kind of in a way, but not really at all. His POV if there is a mirror placed in front of him. How about that? And then here, I think he's flying around the fire from the Beast. I think that's from the Beast. That's really cool. And so overall, I think in terms of camera operations, and I think that's just like the camera angle and stuff, it's pretty good. The lighting was pretty good, and I'm just gonna kind of focus on those two. As I do this series more, I'll be better at describing like what I mean. But overall, I think the cinematography of this movie, at least from my understanding of what cinematography is, and if I don't fully understand it, I apologize. So, but overall, this is a solid, like, we'll say 9.5. Just because I don't fully understand the concept of cinematography. If I fully understood it, I'd probably be able to actually have a better rating. In my eyes, just the camera like angles and the lighting looks really good, and so I'm gonna leave it at a 9.5. If I had a better understanding of cinematography, it might be higher, it might be lower, but yeah, you get what you get sometimes, and you don't throw a fit. Okay, music. So overall, and I just had a quick listen through all of the Superman official motion picture soundtrack on Spotify. So there's 3 songs that like aren't made by either David Fleming or John Murphy, and these are 5 Years Time, Punk Rocker, and the Mighty Crab Joys theme. But all of the stuff that is made by David Fleming / John Murphy is all really good music. I don't know if any of it's copyrighted, so I can't play it. But regardless, it is all good music. Like, it's just, some simple beats. Sometimes it's a little more intense stuff. But it's always good little beats. And they're fun. They're good to listen to, I think. And I think if I were to rewatch the movie, like right now, I'd be able to rank it all a little better. It's all good music, and then you've got the 3 songs that aren't by these guys, because David Fleming and John Murphy, they made like the soundtrack for the movie, and then obviously they've got some of the like other songs, like 5 Years Time. That's a fun song that plays during the military base thing with Mr. Perfect. So that was good. I liked that song in the movie. I remember when the movie came out, I heard that song for the first time, and it was in my playlist for like 3 months, and I hadn't even seen the movie until, February. But it was such a good song. And Punk Rocker, that's another really good song. The Mighty Crab Joys theme, I actually have to re-listen to this one because it just completely left my mind. I don't remember when the song plays, but it's a good song nonetheless, it's not a bad song. It's a pretty good song. Obviously, this is James Gunn's movies we're talking about. Anything with James Gunn probably is going to have a banger soundtrack. I mean, look at the Guardians movies, for example. All of those have a good soundtrack. I don't think I've ever heard someone complain about the Guardians of the Galaxy's soundtracks, any of them. So, I think soundtrack-wise, this was going to be a banger from the start. And I'm going to give it a 10. I'm handing out 10s. I'm too nice. Listen to the music with no fear. So, for impact. Overall, I think it had a pretty good impact. I think superhero movies and kind of the superhero industry, mostly with movies though, at the time was kind of going downhill a little bit. You gotta think, it was just kind of going downhill with stuff like the MCU. It was hit or miss, and there were more misses than hits. Fantastic Four came out around this time. I do remember that, and that was a banger. And then I don't even know what was going on with DC at the time. But this movie was more of like a step away from the dark superhero stuff. From what I remember, the prior Superman we had, it was all dark and grim and mean. His name is Super, man. Super. Okay, he's supposed to be like super good guy. People look up to him. I feel like it's hard to look up to this guy when he is like real violent and angry. And so putting him in this kind of like hopeful character, you know, he tries to see the good in everybody and all of that, making him just a good person. That's really good. And skipping the origin stuff, that's always good. I think there was a point where it's like there's always origin movies, and I hope like because I'm pretty sure they're rebooting the MCU after Secret War. I hope that we skip all of the origin stuff. There's like some origins that I think we get flashbacks for, like Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think it'd be a fun flashback of how he got bit and like where that happened and all of that. But I don't think we need full movies dedicated to origin stories. Simply because it's like we always see it. I think kind of like what they did with Tom Holland Spider-Man, not making his first movie, you know, an origin movie, making it, you know, he's already been Spider-Man for a while. So overall, I like the way this movie shifts from an origin story, because it's not an origin story. We get, you know, small little hints about his past. But if you're a Superman fan or you know anything about DC, you probably already know a lot about this guy's past. So overall, I'm glad that there was no origin stuff or no major origin stuff. And he wasn't like this dark, gloomy guy overall for like the Superman industry. And I feel like movies as a whole, but mostly the superhero industry at the time, I think this is another solid 10. I guarantee you, I already know the score for this. It's either a 9.5 or a 10. I remembered the last thing was characters. I think characters, they're all pretty good. You know, Superman, he's this happy, fun-loving guy. You know, he's just like your average Joe. Except he's not, you know, as angry as your average Joe. He's a lot nicer than your average Joe. So he's like not at all like your average Joe. But yeah, I mean, for Superman's character, you know, for Clark's character, okay, we don't get to see a whole lot of Clark in this movie. I feel like we see it in like 2 or 3 scenes where he's more Clark than Superman. But I think the few scenes that we do see him as Clark, you know, when we're at the Daily Planet, and he's like hiding his identity, but he's not doing it too good, but he's doing it decent enough that the only person who's like, you're horrible at this is Lois, but she already knows that he's Superman. No one else questions it. And then Superman himself, you know, not Clark, but Superman, same person, but you know. Yeah, he's also really cool. He doesn't try to hurt anyone, I feel like. I feel like he's trying to avoid doing damage. Like, he saw with the giant beast, he was avoiding hurting the beast. He didn't want to kill it. He wanted to take it somewhere to, like, study it and whatnot. Obviously, like, Mr. Perfect killed it, and they can't really do that anymore. And, you know, he saved, I think it was a dog, a little girl, an old woman, and a squirrel while fighting this beast. He was worried about all of these little characters and whatnot, and I think that was good. You know, he's worried about every organism on Earth, in a way, trying to protect everything. He was trying to protect the thing that I'm pretty sure was trying to kill him. And then Luther just absolutely hating him. That was pretty good, I feel like. I don't fully know why Luther actually hates him, like, in comic book stuff. Could just be a hatred towards alien, you know, racism. For all I know, that's what it could be. And that's kind of what it looks like in the movie. Actually, that it is out of jealousy, a narcissistic ego, and belief that the alien hero stunts human potential. So it's a little bit alien racism, but it's fine. The hatred it's amazing. I am not hating to my full potential is what Lex Luthor makes me realize. Lois, she's kind of like a side character in this movie. I feel like, I don't know, it's like the few scenes where she doesn't feel like a side character is when she brings Superman to Monpaw, and when she kind of gets a bunch of people with the Daily Planet, her and Jimmy Olsen, get a bunch of people working at the Daily Planet into Mr. Terrific ship to kind of talk about it. She's saving those people while also getting all of Lex Luthor's wrongdoing on the news. And then there was the Justice Gang. They were kind of important to the plot. I feel like the most important one to the plot was Mr. Terrific. You know, he was the most willing to help Superman, but they were all willing to help him. You know, they were all like when Luthor had the video of Superman's parents saying all that stuff, they were willing to talk to him as like they didn't fully believe it. And so I like that. They didn't fully believe that the video was true, and so they still treated him like they were friends with him. You know, when we get to the scene where like they're all not really willing to help Superman out and go figure out where he is, aside from Mr. Terrific. It's a good scene. I feel like they could have potentially all went to help him, and obviously in the end they all did help him with the whole Bulvaria and Jar Henpar, that stuff, you know. But there are like small criticisms with characters. Like I said, with Lois, I feel like she should have more main character going on with her, but she just feels really side character-ish to me. So I don't know. I put her where I did. Or so I not put her where I did. I put the ranking for characters at 9.5. So, yeah. So the overall ranking for Superman 2025 is a 9.8 out of 5. I'm sure that score would be different if I understood cinematography a little bit better. It would have been better or worse depending on my understanding of cinematography. But from the understanding that I did had, and the two things I mainly talked about, which was the camera, like operation angle and all that, and the lighting, I think it was pretty good. This movie was really good. I would fully recommend if you haven't seen it. And if you haven't, you shouldn't have watched this full video, because I feel like I've spoiled a decent amount of this. I gotta do spoiler warnings in the beginning of the videos. Yeah, overall score is a 9.8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe and all that. Probably like next week or something, or within the next coming weeks, we'll get the March movie review, because Superman was actually my February movie, if you forgot that. And my March movie is